South Africa has the most developed automotive industries in Africa. However, rising input costs has made motor manufacturing more expensive.
Currently, we're importing about 65% of components from all over the world and only 35% components which come from South Africa. So we have a large import cost barrier which makes the vehicle not as competitive as it could be.
It's still an attractive market, though, for car makers due to poor transport services infrastructure. Out of the 260,000 vehicles sold, 72% were passenger cars.
The cars that have been purchased the most right now, if you look at the stats, I would have to mention the Polo Vivo. And being a VW, it's very popular. It's got a lot of street cred.
Poor and unreliable public transport systems makes owning a car in South Africa more of a basic necessity rather than a luxury. South African consumers may be spoiled for choice, but cars don't come cheap. A basic entry-level car costs around $7,500. However, this still fares cheaper than in most other countries on the continent.
Kia Picanto, Hyundai i10, Honda Brio, one of the smaller cars, Suzuki Swift, which you would get in that price range. Demo models preferably, because you'd pay a little less and you'd still have all the warranties and all that go with the car.
When it comes to used cars, our markets are very well protected, and with our duty structures in our country, it's not easy to bring in other cars that haven't been produced or used cars into South Africa because it's just not allowed.
Arriva is a motor leasing company. It gives consumers an opportunity to own a car without actually having to buy it.
Leasing gives you more options than standard installment sales. So the banks do installment sale and the customer has no options at the end of the contract. He has to pay off that full debt. With us, he's got the option. He can get to the end of the contract or hand the car back, so he doesn't have to pay that final balloon value or residual value.
In the last 20 years, imported brands such as Kia and Hyundai have also become popular in the local market. Kia has secured 4% of the market despite the high duties.
When we started in the beginning, it was an unknown brand, and as we've gained traction in the South African entity, we've managed to establish a brand. And the introduction of new models, sexy looking cars, our value proposition on our cars has given the South African consumer a lot of confidence in our brand.
But with a weaker rand and rising input costs, new cars are still costing a small fortune for consumers that are struggling to get by. Motorists are now going back to the second-hand car market for more competitive deals. Sumitra, Nydoo, CCTV, Johannesburg.